My Lord. I don't know if we should both wear the same outfit.
I was already dressed. It's like you saw what I had on and then you went and changed. Since when do you wear a New York Yankees hat?
I happen to be a big fan of the New York.
Since when? You're from Iowa.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, they have better buildings than us. You gonna go change, or? To another episode of the Race Cards. Jake Boki, Ronald Emile. Today we're going to be talking about cultural appropriation, a sociological concept which views the adoption or use of elements of one culture as largely negative. The difference here is that an oppressor culture has to borrow traits from the culture it is oppressing. What are some examples of cultural appropriation?
There's so many examples of cultural appropriation. Where do you start? I mean, the big one that's been in the news lately and it's been all over is somebody like Iggy Azalea. What made her so infuriating to so many people was that she's an Australian white woman who raps like a Southern black woman.
Do you feel that white Australian women are oppressing Southern black men?
Not at all. Not unless
so
the
really
black man
that's
really
not
wants to.
cultural appropriation. She's just a hack. So Eminem, cultural appropriator?
No.
The Beastie Boys.
No. But let's talk about why Eminem is not a cultural appropriator.
I would like to.
Okay, there's a reason why he's not considered a cultural appropriator. Very specific reason. He was in the culture. You can't appropriate a culture that you're a part of. The problem comes in when you come in and you steal or you almost mock a culture.
You've heard some metal, right?
I've heard a lot of metal.
You're familiar with the way that metal singers sing.
Yeah?
Nobody does that naturally.
Okay.
Nobody opened their mouth and said, now you could say it was stolen, or you could say that an artist saw another artist doing something that they liked and they replicated it. So there are instances of cultural appropriation beyond art.
Yes, there is.
Some examples?
Rachel Dozal.
I think you do have to kind of like walk the walk if that's who you are.
Okay.
So you feel that you walk the walk of a black woman?
Absolutely.
It's possible that there are some pills that Mrs. Dozal should be taking that she's not taking.
It's true.
Now, a lot of jobs you go and you fill out a thing, and I always check that I am an Eskimo.
You check Eskimo?
And you know what? I got hired for an awful lot of jobs as an Eskimo. I am...
That is great.
I am the Rachel Dozal of the Inuit community. There is a phenomenon in regard to cultural appropriation that only happens in the United States of America.
What's that?
Mascotting. Native Americans probably have it the worst in this regard.
Yeah.
And I would like to take an opportunity to give this week's Fuckwit Award of the Week to the Washington Redskins. Eat a bag of fucking dicks. Are you kidding me? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like that would be if you had the Chicago Coons, right?
It's equivalent. The Oregon Orientals.
Now, it happens a lot with sports teams.
Yeah.
This kind of cultural appropriation, which is unique to America, but it also happens with corporate mascots. For example, the Chiquita Banana Lady
Chiquita banana. Chiquita.
is a stereotype.
Banana. Hey.
You have characters like Aunt Jemima,
And Jemima,
Uncle Ben.
my nigga.
So when I found out that we were going to talk about cultural appropriation, I was almost a little bit excited because I think this means we get to talk about the biggest cultural appropriation criminals in the history of humanity.
Who's that?
Christians.
And Mr. Boki, how are they cultural appropriators?
Let's see here. It enveloped practices and concepts from Greco-Roman paganism, the Roman imperial cult, Neoplatoism, Gnosticism, barbarian tribal religions, Germanic paganism, Celtic paganism, Slavic paganism, various folk religions that we have no record of because Christianity destroyed them.
Do they have a tribe called Quest religionism?
They should. Tipism? Jesus in himself is a mishmash of other cultural figures from other religions. And all of that is interesting to me because Christianity is an incredibly common religion in the black community, which is a result of forced assimilation.
You're getting deep on me, brother. That religion has done a lot of good within the black community. It was the Christian-based religions here in the South that helped usher in civil rights.
This is true.
Southern Christian Leadership Conference. There's been a lot of good stuff that have come out of the church, but inherently, religion is meant to control. Mr. Bonk's in the house. Hey, Bonk, come get on camera. Tell us what you think about Christianity.
It depends on who's holding the religion and how big of an asshole they are. But a lot of them are assholes and want to force you to say Merry Christmas to the little Jewish kids and the little Muslims. And Donald Trump is pandering to that type of people right now. Get out of here. Donald Trump.
You know what, Jeff?
You know he's evil. You can see the horns coming out of his toupee.
I don't like what you're talking about. You're fired. Get out of here. This has been another episode of the Race Cards. Hope you enjoyed it. And, you know, you should just pray about it.
Share it with your Republican friends.
I can go back to my life in Squaresville anytime, baby.
If the police got me, the police got me.
Ooh, that's a big girl.
Let me tell you something, I'm black.